Hi, this is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and today we're talking about the 12 laws of karma. I have been working on this for quite a number of months because I just believe that it is really important to understand the 12 laws of karma. And as I've been studying it, it's one of those, it's kind of interesting to hear different people's perspective on it, to hear how people have changed their mind and changed their thinking about things, and kind of cool, upgraded their lives. I think that is one of the amazing parts of this. So I hope I'm doing it justice by teaching it to you. Please leave me your comments, subscribe, and like this. I love when y'all like it because then I know that y'all want me to do something more like that. So I think it's cool. But then it's also, give me your comments. It's one of those, is there one in here? There were several of them in here that I've been kind of doing that for a little bit, but maybe not in that wording. So that was kind of like, ooh, I've been kind of doing this. And then there were others like, not so much maybe. I don't know. So you tell me what you think about this. So let's talk about karma itself. Karma is thought to be a system that's at play all around us all the time. And a lot of times we really can't see it, but we can feel karma. And I think the 12 laws of karma really abides by much of the 12 laws of the universe. And I will be doing a video on the 12 laws of the universe because I've been studying both of these, but this one I think is ready first. So karma can trap us in familiar patterns of pulling us towards the same type of people. Like if your dad was an alcoholic, you may be drawn to another alcoholic to marry, and you may not have known that at the time, but then after you get into marriage, it's like, wait, this guy is just like my dad, or this person is just like my mom. It can also draw us into relationships, friends, spouses, friendships, boyfriends, girlfriends, all that kind of stuff, with people that are similar to what we grew up in. Like I said, an alcoholic or a narcissistic, or someone who has like drug addictions, that sort of thing. So it's kind of like we kind of keep going around until we make that, like, I am not doing this anymore. I'm going to make a change. And once we do that, everything else flips and turns. But it's one of those, it's important that we see a lot of people do that. I was talking to a couple of friends a few weeks ago, and one of them was in the midst of a divorce, and it's like, but if you really looked at it, your almost current husband, almost divorced husband now, is just like your first husband, who was just like your dad. And she was just like, yeah, that's that familiar pattern, and we keep doing it a lot of times to bring healing to that situation. Although this person is different, we're hopefully bringing healing to them, and it's not always an easy part to do. You may also the familiar parts may come in that you feel like everybody is against you. Everybody is doing everything against you all the time. Or sometimes feeling like unnecessary burdens, like, oh, they're putting this on me to fix or heal or do this with it. But sometimes they're really not. Sometimes it's just one of those, they're working on it and you kind of picked it up, and it's like, hey, let me take this over energetically, because you're used to constantly overdoing or taking on other people's burdens. And so that can be a familiar thing as well, as you kind of take on other people's burdens. If this sounds like you, it requires, it doesn't take that much to kind of break this karmic cycle. It takes some time to learn how to stop it, how to analyze it, and how to release our personal karma, so we're not kind of bringing that back in over and over again. A lot of times when you understand the 12 karmic laws, you can figure out how and why you're getting stuck in certain areas of your life, and then how to fix it. Because once you kind of have that mental pattern of like, why am I bringing this in, or that spiritual pattern, or that physical pattern, it makes it much easier. So let's talk about the 12 laws of karma. The first law of karma is called the law of cause and effect. And this is actually often called the great law, because it's kind of like, this is what, a lot of people are like, this is the big one. This is the huge one in all of this. The first law of karma is the most important of the foundations. Kind of really understanding everything that you bring into your world is for you to do something with, and to create, to modify, to nullify, to work through, not to work through. It's all up to you what you're going to do with the stuff that you bring in. That's cause and effect. And so you're causing it to come to you, but the effect is either you're choosing to change it, you're choosing not to change it, you're choosing to ignore it, you're choosing to do nothing with it, but it's your call on that part. Kind of really this comes in is you reap what you sow. If you do good to others, you will receive good. Yet if you are blocking others from their good life, then karma will block you from your good life. Interesting. Let's go to the law of creation, which is the second law of karma. The law of creation is all about your relationships with karma to influence your life and creating what you're creating like right now in your life. It's kind of our most powerful moment is in our right now. Anything that we're thinking about like right now is the most powerful thing in our world. Right now, you are at the most powerful moment in your entire life to send positive energy to every point of energy that requires balancing or negativity in your life. All of those things. Really, basically stated is from your current location or place in time and right now, you are able to send balanced energy to anybody who's feeling rage. You can send them love. If anybody's feeling hatred, you can send them love. If you're hearing words of anger, to nullify that and to send them the power to speak their words of truth and sending that out. Sending love to our past is just as important as sending love to our future. The third law is the law of humility, and kind of the low ego kind of thing. And I kind of mean like this is kind of like the law of ego and humility kind of mixed together. Our humility is defined as our modest time, like when we're kind of like, I'm not as important as everybody else, or kind of seeking our own importance. When it comes down to karma, it takes humility to accept any bad karma that will come back to us. So a lot of times like people will be like, oh, that's not mine. I didn't do any of this. I'm not at fault. But I will say a lot of times like that humility, that knowledge of accepting what you have carried, been carrying in negative karma, that you have not been aware of. When your ego and your humility are in balance with your spiritual side, kind of both sides a little bit differently, you will be able to attract good karma and replace your negative karma with more and more good karma. So that's kind of an amazing instance for me. I think a lot of times people think as the ego as bad, and it's not necessarily bad. If you let it run rampant, it's bad. It's kind of like a crazy child running around in the grocery store. But if you are having your ego in balance, that's good karma. Let's go to the fourth law, which is the law of growth. Just like everything in the world, you are either in growth or you are dead. Basic and simple. We must be growing, changing, upgrading ourselves at all times, to kind of like a plant. It's always constantly in growth, or it is in hibernation or death. There's nothing else. And hibernation is just a pause in the growth cycle. So pausing is fine. It's moving forward is what you have to continue to do. As humans, we have a remarkable opportunity to make new choices, which turns out to be, if it turns out to be a mistake, then we get to learn from that mistake and we get to make new choices. I think that is kind of one that I've been working on for a long time, and I think it's something that I work on with other people as well. So many times people will tell me like, I don't ever want to make a mistake. I don't want my kids to make mistakes or anything like that. And I'm like, really? When you make a mistake, you learn how to fix a mistake. And learning how to fix a mistake is amazing because you have learned something that you wouldn't have learned any other way. So I think that's kind of one of the things that like a lot of people are like, I don't want to make a mistake, but we all make mistakes all the time. That's just kind of who we are. And that's what we're supposed to learn, is when we make a mistake, we're supposed to learn from the mistake and then learn how to fix the mistake. That's the best. Okay, number 5 is the law of responsibility. The law of responsibility is about holding yourself accountable for both your past and your future. When we take responsibility for our past mistakes that we have made in our lives, we work towards making new corrections, and then you may be offered new opportunities to change your own karmic return. Kind of like if you've made mistakes in the past and it wasn't like intentional, but you've learned from it and you've kind of corrected it, that's going to change that karma as well, from negative karma coming back at you to positive karma coming back at you. So that is yay. Number 6 is the law of connection. Truly highlights our interconnectiveness with all things. Every thought, every action, every event is connected to anything and everything else in our lives, like our family, our coworkers, our religion, our nationalities, and our collective work. So our team at work, if we make a mistake on that team, even though no one else made the mistake but us, as a collective network, we will take on that mistake. Our family is the same way. If we make a mistake in our family or in our outside world, kind of going to the store or whatever else, living our life, our family can be held accountable for our mistake as a collective network. Kind of really easily stated is only when we realize our own karma is not only influenced by us, yet is influenced by our collective network, which should change our ethics, how we think about things, how we do things, our principles. And when we realize our choices affect our collective networks, we, as well as ourselves, it's one of those, like, it becomes like bigger than us. When we make a mistake, it's bigger than us. When we make a good thing, it's bigger than us. It's one of those, so just that consciousness of like, we are connected to everybody else. We are in a collective network with everybody. It's important to understand. Number 7 is the law of focus or the law of force. The law of focus is when we are connected to our energy and we are aiming everything that we have and give, and we are focusing our mind, body, and soul, we also affect our karma. If you are being gifted kind of the best focus of energy into your mind, your body, and your soul, and making corrections and doing right actions, your actions will create your best focused karma. Number 8, the law of giving and hospitality. Serving others with our sincere, heartfelt hospitality, or to give others our service from our own generosity to open our door and our heart, is an amazing bit of karma right there. When you are in practice of cultivating genuine generosity towards others from a very heartfelt place and expecting nothing in return, you will receive a plethora of good karma. The law of here and now. The law of here and now is all about resolving things from your past, things that were old pains, issues, triggers, as well as staying in your here and now, in your current moment, which we've already talked about. This is your most powerful moment. If you stay in that here and now moment, whatever went on in our past, abuse, like I said, issues, pains, triggers, all that kind of stuff, if we stay in our current energy, we will work to release the past and staying in our now, with our law of humility and giving and hospitality and thought, since our thoughts and our actions all come into every current situation. When you think of karma as these things of weighing you down or holding you back, you are more bound to your past than you are to your current situation. Yet, if you are constantly focused on your future, you will not be able to find happiness in your here and now as well. Wherever your focus is where you're going to be finding the best positive energy. And if you are focused in the past, or if you're focused on the future, you're really not able to find your here and now. This is one I learned a long time ago in a little bit different wording, but that was really an amazing thing for me. Number 10, the law of change. Albert Einstein said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. We have the choice to change we have a choice to change or remain in our old mindset. It is totally up to us. What we choose or don't choose is completely up to us. You always decide if you are moving in growth, success, and change. Only you can change. No one can choose to change for you, since true change starts from the inside. Yet when you decide to change, who you will be shaping your future, your reality, and your future. Next, number 11 is the law of patience and reward. Only karma can cross lifetimes, and when you send good karma out, you may not always see good karma return to you, because it may be something like old karma coming in from a past life. The key to patience and the key to drawing your good rewards or your good karma from other past lives is all about kind of seeing that blessing come into you. And usually it happens in front of someone who's kind of like been a menace to you, or someone who's been almost like cursing your life, or kind of like not blessing your life in a lot of different ways. Our blessings will come with creator-like energy, and will only intensify by our patience. So when we're not like, oh my gosh, you've got to send it in now, and allowing our creator to do it, it will happen in the right place at the right time, and everybody will get to see that, and that's amazing. Number 12, the law of significance and inspiration. All of us have a part to contribute to our world, even if we don't realize how important our part is, as we change our outlook on our life, and we can influence so many. This one is one that I think is like really precious to me, because I think for a lot of times people really don't understand like how important they are or how unimportant they are. I know. If we are all important and unimportant, we are as valuable to to part of Earth's story as a piece of a puzzle, because that one piece of puzzle can solve everything, or that one piece of puzzle being gone can ruin everything. Karma can be seen throughout history in a number of traditions, religions, and other themes. What you get coming to you, for better or for worse, is what you've started with. When you open your heart to guide you through your life's intentions, are what draws in karma. Make your best intentions filled with light, love, and beneficial energy. One of the things I get quite often, and I think of that every time I read that statement, is so many times people, feel like they're being cursed or anything like that. And it's usually not a curse. It's usually 90% of the time, it's their own karma. It's their own stuff that's keeping them from having their happy life. It's their karma that's keeping them from the new job or the new position at work or whatever it is, or finding that right person. So that's kind of what most people kind of go, oh, someone else is cursing me, but it's usually not. It's your own intentions of cursing other people that is now coming back to you. Let's do some angel cards and get us a little bit more information about the 12 laws of karma. This one is all about emerging, and this is really all about kind of like changing our energy. We have that choice to make changes all the time. In that current moment, we have a choice to make changes. We have a choice to change how we react, how we don't react, how we deal with other people, and how we are seen in our world. And we're always changing, unless we choose not to change. Listening. When we really listen, to me, I think that's really kind of the law of giving and hospitality. So many times people don't see it as important, but it's a law of karma. It's almost a law of the universe as well, kind of worded a little bit differently, is when you are serving other, or when you are listening to someone else's heartfelt stories and you're hearing them and listening to them and making them important in that moment, literally it is drawing in good karma to you. Next one, power. The power always stands in our current moment. What you do or what you don't do always stands in your current moment. The other one I would say is this really is important, is kind of our intentions. When our intentions are to bless other people, to bless their path, it blesses our path. So whatever you do towards others is what you get back to yourself. This one is blessings. This is, like I said, is really kind of what I was just talking about, is blessings. When you bless someone else, when you are blessing other people, you receive the balance of that back. So when you kind of like, oh, I don't like her, or I don't like him, and I don't like it, what you're doing is sending that negative energy back to you. So if you bless them on their path, what you get is blessings on your path. That's the best way to work with people that you don't necessarily care for, is to bless them on their path. And a lot of times they kind of like leave your world, or kind of like change jobs or change families or whatever it is. And it's like, wow, I don't have to deal with that person anymore. New love. When you're sending love and light and energy, you open yourself up to new love, to new things that you love, new love lives coming into you, new people to love in your life as well. This is our last card, truth and integrity. When you stand in your truth and you speak truth and only your truth, you are empowering that current now moment to move forward as fast or as slow as you choose to do. And you will also bring in your love with your integrity and your intentions. I thank you so much for joining me today, and I know that we'll be talking again soon.